What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Council's Corner, episode 8? That's 2 months of us doing this
Yep.
every
Woo.
week.
That's
with
it. I'm out.
3 people watching. And we love you 3 people. The Bonley's already out for the night. All right.
I'm back.
I see. Yeah, so another fun week. We started recording the first 2 hours. We thought it was going to be a live stream, and life has a way of kicking you in the balls pretty quick. But we started that, so hopefully we'll be doing that episode soon. I think we've kind of nailed out how we're actually going to do it, so that'll be good. We got a huge content update from Zenith. I think we can rail on Zenith for 20 minutes at least, and Bonley can say the same negative thing 20 times in a row or something. We'll see. But yeah, other than that, how have you guys been this week?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. He threw it back to you.
Good. You?
Pretty good. Bonley, how about you?
I'm doing well. My birthday passed on the night of the first 2 hours, which was a blast. We had so much fun. I'm anxious to talk about it. I think it was a great first choice of a game. Everybody had a really interesting experience. And yeah, we are going to talk about Zenith. I am not going to trash it the whole time, but it will be. Yeah, we got that going now. So yeah, some of that's going to happen. But no, I'm excited to be with you guys this week. We got some fun stuff to talk about.
You see Siberian giving you a happy birthday?
Hey, Siberian, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Sweet. So
Budo.
yeah, I'm interested to see this Zenith trailer. I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
No.
Let me tell you, it's about 12 seconds.
Get ready.
It's
to be
very
excited.
informative. Now, look, as much crap as I talk, them putting in an instanced dungeon. Literally, the only thing I've been screaming for the last 3 months is, I want an instance dungeon. So they did it. They did it. They're pushing in an instance dungeon. And it's a mid-level.
That was what was weird to me when I read it.
Yeah, let's see it first before we get into it. You got it? Let's see it.
Yeah, we can pull it up. Let me see.
Yeah, let's see it.
So yeah,
That was
you can
13
see,
seconds.
What was it?
I don't know.
was
I
it?
wasn't counting.
Well, then you can't say I was wrong yet. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be Radiant Coast, so somewhere in that level 25 range, before Turtle Top, maybe. In fact, I think I know the exact area it's in. Right there where you see that shark boss. Remember, there's one tier that's up on a boat, and it's like a stupid tier to get because you can't see it from any angle except for the right angle. I think there was a cave right off to the right of that, and I'm betting that's where they're going to put it. Yeah, so I mean, mid-20s, but it's an instance. So y'all said they said 4-man. I don't remember seeing 4-man on there.
They definitely said
Says
4-man.
Yeah, it says it.
I mean, a 4-man. It's weird that they upped the party size to 8, and then they're doing a 4-man instance. I am betting it's got something to do with, because I know the mechanics they're putting into it are actually like group mechanics. But my brain just went fuzzy.
Yeah, I've never gotten to do it like an instance dungeon like that. So I'm looking forward to trying to play something like that. I don't know. I'm hoping it'll rekindle my love for Zenith. I don't know, and I haven't even gone back since they updated things like inventory and whatnot. So I need to figure that out.
I'm interested to see what kind of drops there are from the dungeon.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So the good news with this, well, more good news with it, because honestly, an instance dungeon is good news even if it's low level. They're also, their exact words was many, many hours of end game content. And I'm scared because that could mean many, many hours of grinding for end game loot, or it could mean hours of stuff to do. And hopefully that's what it means. But they're doing a lot more quality of life fixes. I think I read someone saying that they are finally making like the item level for like cooking and stuff like that. Those item levels will matter. There's going to be more ingredients, more recipes. Um, they teased armor what 3 months ago that they were going to release, so there should at least be a new high tier armor set. Um, yeah, all right, that's it for this episode, guys. Good seeing you all.
Do you think there's going to be more than just that instance dungeon? Like, do you think they'll add more? Or?
Yes, I would hope. I would hope they're putting in more than one dungeon. I know in the alpha testing, one of the alpha phases, they had a dungeon with these similar type of mechanics where you have like a puzzle for switches you've got to flip. You've got rooms that you can only walk through a certain way. Um, so I mean, honestly, I wouldn't care if there's just the mid-level dungeon and then they also do um a high level version of that same exact dungeon where you can go back and everything is increased and harder to do. Like
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that too.
I mean, I guess I understand why they did a mid-level dungeon, but it's kind of like we were saying, we wanted more of that when you're the higher level, like end-game content. So I don't know.
Well, I guess my thing with it is that I feel like they have a very, I mean, I haven't been in the game as much, so maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I feel like a lot of their people that are playing the game are at end game. Would that be fair to say for anybody that's been in recently? Would you think more people are at end game, or do you think more people are going through it right now?
I think their active player base is probably mid range.
That's what I was thinking is maybe the reason.
I know every time I get in, there's like maybe two people that I saw 3 months ago that I still see. Um, None of the crew we used to run with on the boss platform is still around. Um, there's like kind of a bigger group that shard hops and does world boss and they meet up with Facebook and stuff like that. And a couple of the guys are in that group. So when you're doing like the big massive group doing invasions or world boss, you can see a couple people. But I mean, every time I've logged in since the update, I mean, I haven't run into anyone that I saw, months ago when we started playing.
Well, then, do you think that this is a move where they're just basically catering to the people that are playing now? Because I think that it's kind of weird because, if the people are already playing now, you would think that they would want to do something that would draw people in that are in the end game and have them want to rejoin and get back into it. Now, an instance dungeon of 4 people, like you said, with the type of community they're trying to build, to me seems a little odd that it would be such small group of people because there's so many games that have four-man things, and Zenith, where it stands out, is the wealth of people that can be playing at the same time. So they're not really taking advantage of something they have going for themselves, which is the ability to have all these different people playing at once by having at least 8, because of the update. I mean, that would make sense. They updated the party to 8 and then they release an instance with 8. You'd be like, okay, I can see where that's going and why they would do that. But in general, it's enough to get me into it, but not enough to get me excited, because the way I look at it is they don't have more than 4 people, and they made it a mid-level area because they didn't make it that difficult. And so if you have anything that's strong, you're going to overpower it. And then not only that, I wonder what sort of drops are they really going to offer if it's a mid-level instance. They can't offer anything too crazy because you're in your 20s. So they're not going to give you the top-notch stuff at a mid-level instance. So that doesn't really, the gear, whatever's new, is not really doing it for me either, because it would only be going towards some second class or some other thing that I'm working on.
Yeah, you've got a lot of good points there. The main one I can latch on to, do you understand what an instance is? I'm not trying to talk down to you. I'm just honestly asking.
No, just because of the MMOs and not having the experience in it, I don't take it that big. But just from
So
my
an
summation, I would assume that it's a very specific type of it's a dungeon that only you're participating in. It's not an open world. It's its own sort of thing. You
So-
enter it together, and then you have to complete that thing together within the group. Is that right?
So to break it down, it's a private lobby. So when you're thinking like with us just playing Warplanes, you've got the main game, the campaign and stuff, and then you've got these private lobbies. So an instance is essentially just a 4-man private lobby. Reading the way they wrote out their like update announcement, it sounds like there's a different structure running the game in the instance. So my tinfoil hat time, again, they're developing something else behind the scenes, and I feel like the instance is probably going to take you out of Zenith and into another structure. So that's why it's a 4-man, because that network structure is designed for 4 multiplayers. So I think it's literally going to be running on different code than the rest of the game. Hopefully it's seamless. You don't even realize it's happening. Like, you'll go through a portal, you'll get a loading screen, and then we'll be in the instance. But my honest opinion is it's going to be running on a completely different, same engine or whatever, but like the way networking will work and everything else is going to be different. And they can do that because they're not trying to support 150 people. They're only trying to support 4 people. And so I think that's probably why they're limiting it to 4, is because 4 seems to be the magic number when it comes to VR games. Like almost anything that's multiplayer is 4-player max. So I feel like that's probably all the code and everything that's already written, that's already worked out, is stupid camera.
If it has a lot of cool action and it's actually like interesting and exciting, but without any lag, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
And I think that's one of the big hard points we have when it comes to like invasions and the boss, is you get those moments where the client and the host don't agree, and the boss just hunkers down, and you start laying on 50 spells as fast as you can so they all hit him at once. And you don't want that in an instance. You want to have to strategically take down the boss. And from what I read, there's only one boss in the instance. So, I'll take what I can get, because they've got some puzzle elements, some environmental elements, and then the actual boss, which hopefully isn't just a scaled up shark, because I'm going to light a fire somewhere if it's just a scaled up shark.
Do you honestly see there being any different or new enemies in there?
I'm holding out hope for it, but no.
Right.
I mean, it's not. I'm so torn, because it's not hard to make new models. They've hired 4 people to do assets on painting and designing models. So I mean, there should be new characters. There should be new move sets we're dealing with, new spells we're seeing. But I mean, I feel like that's more of a wish list than a, because I'm still pretty sure this is the same thing they already did in the alpha testing. So I think they're just finally got it worked out and they're going to be pushing it out. And that in no way is me complaining. I'm still excited for it. I am disappointed it's mid level, but it's not going to stop me from doing it. I am going to make a new character just so I can do it at the right level. So, they're getting players that were in back to play it. They'll have a lot of new players coming in. I mean, that's something like if you watch their Discord, they've got new players every day hopping into the game. Like, they're still selling this game like crazy. They're not slowing down. They still consider it a what do you call it? What's the word for the game that's not finished yet? A
Pre-release.
pre-release. There's a word Steam uses, but yeah, they still consider it pre-release, like it's still being worked on and developed in development. Um, and yet they're still getting new people every day. So I think that's I think they have to cater to the people that are spending money. And if you've already spent your money, they've already got it.
Early
So
access.
Early access. There
I
you
was
go.
gonna
It's
say.
still considered early access. Thank you.
Yep. Had to think about it for a minute.
But yeah, I really hope they do put some new characters in it, but I wouldn't hold out.
I think this would
It
be
looks-
like a good time for them to prove what we could expect if they do put new characters in. We'll be like, okay, you're really trying.
And hours
looks-
and hours of in-game content. There could be an entire new zone, or they could fill out the zones they have that are just dead space. They could put stuff on those floating islands so that we've got something to do up there. There's a lot of easy things they could do with what's already there to create new content.
Herbalism.
There is.
Make it where there's only like certain herbs on those floating islands, and make it where there's potion making and shit.
I mean,
Yeah,
look, it has infinite potential. We've talked about that. I mean, and it's absolutely there. I mean, the potential is all there. It's just how much they're really invested in exploiting that potential. Because when I look at that preview after all this time, it's something good, but man, that was a vanilla ass little run through of a very obvious looking like every else. Like, did that dungeon look any damn near, besides the door and besides the fire that was shooting out, did that look any different than that underground area where the creatures are? It looks exactly
There's like two bad guys in the whole thing.
but again, that
it was very vanilla. That was such a it's you know what, I just see this pattern with them ever since that they've released the game, with just everything being very vanilla in the way that they're doing things. Like, they're scared to do anything wild or anything too out there or too aggressive. Like, they're being too cautious with the game, which is supposed to be about fun. And it's like there's other games that get that fun element and don't mind going crazy with stuff and being aggressive with, the looks of things and the items and the stuff. And like, they're very focused and very, cautious about how they pursue different new things to this game. And I think it's too cautious. It should be a lot more of fun, interesting things going on. And for them to add some new looking creatures, them to add some new things, if they were going to do any of that, they would feature it. I doubt they're going to surprise with all of that stuff. So, we'll see what happens. But, to me, it's still very lackluster. And it's like, you just want something. And so they're giving you something, but we should have had something to this level a while ago, compared to the way that you guys have explained the flow of content for MMOs.
And to Zenith's credit, we're also talking about studios that are releasing these MMOs where each team has 40 people on it. And this is a studio of like 8 people. There's not a whole lot of people working on Zenith. So I do want to give them credit where credit's due, because again, we all love the game. They've obviously put a lot of work into it. we can be really critical because we play a lot of games, and it's easy for us to really hold a flashlight to it and say, here's all these flaws. But they're still here. They're still working on stuff. They're growing their team. They are not paying me to say any of this. Um, but but I they gave themselves 2 months here. They're saying they're going to release late June, and I think they just really wanted to show off something that is coming out. And I really hope, and I'm sure they're going to have a lot more stuff coming with it, and they'll probably drizzle in updates here and there for what we're going to see to kind of build excitement. And I think this is just the first thing they're announcing for the content, not necessarily the update.
I do wonder if this update is connected to the money though, because they got this money, and I bet you they had to show something to as like a proof of what they're doing or where some of that investment's going. I bet you there was a timeline in place, and they needed to put something out to show that they're going to be adding things and doing things.
Maybe. Hold on, I just realized Twitch says we're playing dash dash. We're not playing dash dash. I think this is part of their roadmap all along. Yes, they want their investors to see they're actively working and making the game better. Obviously. Yo, Meta.
What up?
What's up, guys? Sorry I'm late. That feels appropriate.
Boo.
Where was the good one at?
But I mean, yeah, clear. Obviously, they want their investors to see they're growing and improving, and they're going to be getting more people in. But I think this is their roadmap. It's where they're trying to head. And I mean, for all the negative things we do have to say, this is honestly, it's a huge positive. It's the thing we've been crying about, which is an instance dungeon, more end game content, more things to do in the game. And hopefully they'll make use of all the inventory space we have now, where we can actually look different, have some separate armor, maybe some new weapons, and stuff that works. And that's one of the things about the instance that excites me, is we get to see working networking, where hopefully the battles actually work out, the bosses actually operate correctly, and we get good drops, mid-range drops, whatever those will be. But I mean, they did say it's new stuff, so the stuff that's dropping in there will be new stuff. So, which means
here's a question for you guys: is how would you feel if they switched to like an inventory system where you have bags, where it's kind of like WoW, where you have like 3 bags and they start out small, but you can get them as drops, and so that could be another type of drop from enemies. I feel like the types of drops from enemies is just so limited right now. It's either a weapon, a piece of armor, or like what else do they even drop? That's it.
Food.
I mean,
sometimes food.
A bag system. So with MMOs, everything is about making you work and making you play the game. So when you look at a bag system, it's just another way to make you work. It's another way to make you grind, because they go, here's your 7 slots and your 6 pieces of armor. What do you want to do? And you're like, well, I guess I got to go grind and find another 4-slot bag.
It's another reason to have professions. You make tailoring, and then you can have people that can make bags.
100%.
Oh, is Tormata back on professions? I feel like we're at episode 1.
It's something to do. I just want them to add something to do.
But when I mean, you're right, because then you're gathering, you're if you're making bags, you're doing tailoring or some kind of leather working, so you're skinning and you're picking plants for dyes. I mean, yeah, it gives you something to do, but I mean, I feel like that's such a MMO gimmick, because then you're spending 10 hours in the game, but you're only actually playing for 40 minutes. You're watching your little countdown timers as you're making stuff. And could you imagine a profession in this game? Like, think about cooking. Now you want to make a bag. You're like setting up a cotton machine over here.
Yes, I want a loom.
And you got your knitting needles to make your beanie. You could get a rocking chair while you're at it.
Give me a spinning wheel.
But I mean, it's another great thing about VR. So yeah, it would give you stuff to do, but it's also one of those things that, like in WoW, when you're doing that day of making your bags and everything to put on the auction house, you're just sitting there clicking, and then drinking, doing something else, browsing the internet, and then you click back over and click again, set an Alexa timer for 3 minutes when your cast is going to be done, you know. So yes, it's something to do, but is it something fun to do? Because I want the game to be fun to do. I want fun content, fun reasons to be playing, not just. Although I say that, but when I think an instance run, I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday. We gotta run, you know. So, but you know that's really it.
Meta, what are your thoughts on the Zenith update now that you've joined us?
Oh, I'm on the spot. Well, shit. So I am honestly, I'm wishy-washy on this because like I'm excited, but I'm not super excited. I'm happy to see new content that looks genuinely new. So I mean, there's that. But I was hoping to see some type of a tease about their update on Cyber Ninja. I don't need to see like the actual, avatar for it. I just need to just give me a status update. Like, are we still doing this? What are we thinking? Um, but aside from that, I will say that it looked good. I liked that they said they were going to add like a poisonous water. It seemed like I was a little disappointed when I saw.
Poisonous gas and some
Yeah,
kind
but
of flames.
so the gas, I'm more interested in the water because playing the game it's not hard to avoid the water, not really. But if they have something like airborne that you can't fly through, that could be more interesting because then you're not always just getting around at full health.
Or what if
But
you're? Well, it's a big dungeon, so you won't be grounded.
if in the instance they disabled automatic health regeneration, I mean that might sound weird, but I think that would actually be a really nice touch if you ask me. But stuff like that, I
Well, you've
just
got to bring a healer with you.
exactly
Right.
but the thing I was disappointed with the most, and not I'm such a pessimist, guys. I swear I'm not that bad a guy, but was when I read that it was a mid-level dungeon. Um, I was like, yeah, new dungeon. Then I was like, oh, mid-level dungeon. I will admit that the mid game is sorely lacking in content, I feel like. So I mean,
That's
it
a good
makes
point.
sense. You have like the first Naga dungeon that people kind of like all go to, and then you have like the world boss. But like mid game, there's really no dungeon of any kind or anything. So I mean, I get why they put it there. I just don't feel like that's where it was. The player base that like the bulk of the player base that's like committed to the game is going to be at. I don't see myself going there a lot for that simple reason. I'm sure for other players who are playing through the game for the first time, that's awesome. But for endgame players and players that have been endgame players that have stopped playing the game that plan to return to the game, I don't see many people returning to the game for more than maybe like an hour, maybe two, to
Well,
do this and then dip out.
something else to consider with this is, it's another test. It's almost like a beta. They want to get it knocked out with simple content before they're giving you these epic top tier drops in a level 40 dungeon. You know,
Yeah.
so it could very well be they've got something ready to push out for top tier, but they want to see how, because there's going to be a whole lot more people doing a mid level dungeon than there's going to be top tier dungeon.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as much as we want to believe everyone is level 40, there's a whole lot of people that can't get past level 25, man.
This
There's
is
a
true.
whole lot of them out there that have been playing for months and still aren't level 40.
I do feel like I am interested to know how many players there are out there that have ever reached level 40 that want to return to the game, just kind of like how we are, where we haven't really played it much, but like We are level 40 accounts. We would log back in for new content. Like, how many are out there that would return to the game if they pushed out end game content, but just aren't playing it right now? Is that more of the player base than currently exists, or less? I feel like at this stage in the game's life, it actually might be more.
I would. I get scared mentioning numbers, but I would guess it's under 500 level 40s in the game.
Oh,
And
I
they've
don't
probably
think
got
so. I
5 or
think it's higher.
6,000 that haven't made it there. I don't think so, man. I think it's a pretty small club right now, even though, and I just mean relatively small, um, for an MMO. I don't think there's that, because I mean, think about it. You can, if you go to the World Boss platform on any server, you probably know the 30 people that are going to be there working on
But
the
those are the
boss.
level 40s that are currently playing. There's a lot of people that play through, beat the world boss 2 or 3 times, and then put the game away. Not everyone grinds through it like we did and gets all the best
That's true.
mats and all that stuff.
But
Yeah.
I still think, they can guarantee a whole lot more people playing that content, making it low level, than making it in game.
Yeah.
Especially this early on. It's still early release or early access, all that stuff. I am disappointed that it's not level 40. But on the same token, I understand why it's not. And it is still, as I said earlier, I'm going to make a new character, and hopefully it's around level 25 so I can just level it up to 25 and wait. But, you know, and it's also, this is only, I also said this is just the first tidbit they've given us about this update. I mean, with that, the teaser saying, many, many hours of content, stuff like that, I think they're going to give us breadcrumbs all along the way for the update and then push the update.
Yeah.
If they're, I mean, that's marketing 101.
If
So,
there's one thing I kind of wish they would add to the game that is such a, I mean, it's like a bucket list thing for the game. It's never going to happen, but I'd be happy if it did, especially in the like the VR MMO format. Like, I feel like I've brought it up before, but like, if you ever played Witcher 3, like the devs put a whole game inside the game. They created a fully functional card game called Gwent that's extremely
Yeah.
popular. And it's a card game. You collect the cards while you play the game, and then you can use those cards to like play against the NPCs. I'm not sure if you can play other players. I think maybe you can. Can't remember. But it's really popular. And if they were to put some type of strategy into the game like that for players who are just, I've been playing the game for 3 hours on a run through, like some people will do. And now I just want to go to the tavern and just play like a sit down game and talk and chat with my friends. I feel like it would open up the social aspect more and give people something to do. Like,
Yeah.
I know Demio is an entirely separate game, but could you imagine something Demio-esque, like built into the sub game of Zenith, where you could collect pieces and stuff as you go? That'd be fucking
one
sweet.
thing I think every time we're in the tavern, like, because they have that stage set up, and there's tables, card tables, a bar. They want mini games. I feel
I think that's all
like
I'm
there's
asking for
gonna
is I
be
want
something
some
to
mini
go.
games of some kind.
Totally.
Yeah, cards, darts. I mean, like you said, Demio, you go in there, there's an arcade machine, there's the stupid bow and arrow thing. Like, it's not a far stretch at all for them to add that, especially something like the tavern where they could instance it out and, have it running separately so that they can do crazy stuff that you can't pull out of there and bring to the normal game. So it would be cool, have Pokemon cards you can collect and battle each
Yeah,
other
I
with
mean it's not
cards.
hard. I mean the hardest part I feel like is coming up with the concept art. As far as how to format a combat card game like a CCG, it's been done and redone so many times. Just copy an existing format. There's so many that have been reused and rinsed and repeat. It's just the concept art they need.
They could even partner with one of those games and get them down with it and have a few of their elements or their characters or things involved in it, and that would be very simple, and then they could get that going.
I really keep seeing this really strong correlation between people that play Zenith. Every time I meet someone in Demio, they also play Zenith. I think there's something to be said about the crossover demographic and how I feel like they could capitalize on that.
I mean, it's fantasy. I thought there'd be more of a role playing element to Demio, but I mean, it's also. I mean, we have what 7 games that we frequent. So I mean, that's kind of the market for a lot of people is those few games right now.
Yeah.
And you know, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, today I think might be the last day, or tomorrow might be the last day for the Star Wars sale on the Oculus store. I ended up buying all 3 of those games only, so I also have the arcade one, the
Ooh.
pinball.
Oh, I meant to do that.
The pinball is really cool. I liked it a lot better than I thought I was going to. I really think it's neat.
That's cool.
I gave it a little bit of a try, and I haven't tried the Vader one yet, or the other one, but I'm excited for both.
Well, you know what was really cool about that, which was neat, is that when you're playing pinball, you know how they have the mini games within the pinball.
Yeah.
So in the Star Wars, and one of the things, it actually brings you there to perform the mini game. So it takes you off the pinball table to do that. It's pretty neat. It was worth the $12. I like it.
I've not looked at any of them. I'm not a Star Wars guy.
They're 50% off right now. That's pretty big savings.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, we were talking about other games, so shall we move on? Since we've talked about Zenith at length, I think.
I think so.
Shall we talk
Wait,
about?
wait! I have one more thing about Zenith. Okay. Okay. Well, the masses have spoken. We'll talk about the next thing.
No. What do you want to say?
Well, no. I mean, actually, that's what I was hoping would happen. Kitty teed that up perfectly and knew what I was going for. So let's move on.
Shall we talk
Is
about
Now
Warplanes?
you've made this
Or...
thing.
Yeah, is Zay and them gonna make it or no?
I think that's their plane taking off.
Sorry. I can't hear any of these sound effects, by the way, so I don't know.
That's
They're
super
working.
weird. You're just hoping that it's the right sound effect. You accidentally play a crazy clown.
I mean, as long as I don't hit this one on accident, we're good.
Do you know what these things sound like? Have you listened to them before you hit them?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just going through a random soundboard. All right, so Warplanes.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of talked earlier. We did do our first 2 hours recording this weekend. We were initially going to do a live broadcast, and that fell apart really quickly. And yeah, instead we decided we're going to do a recorded format, and then or record clips, and then have a live show discussing the first 2 hours of the game. That'll be much shorter, more concise, and just kind of nice to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first game we did was Warplanes, and I mean, we're not going to do an episode of the first 2 hours right now, but I think it is worth talking about this game because somehow I haven't played it until this weekend, and I feel like that's a travesty. Like, it's an awesome game sitting out there that I didn't even know was there.
So, I loved Warplanes, but I know why I haven't heard more about it. Like, I've heard that what's there is good, and I enjoyed what's there, but I feel like it's really missing like an advertising campaign for VR users. I don't see it advertised anywhere. I just have heard some things through like just searching like what are good VR games, and people will be like Warplanes. But like if you like search promotional material, like there doesn't seem to be a ton. And also like I think that the biggest strengths of the game are just the raw gameplay mechanics. It's fun, it feels good, but and also the simulation mechanics. Like you said, we don't want to go through everything, or we won't have anything for the first 2 hours. But I think that my main gripe, if I had to give a gripe, which I don't want to, but I have to be devil's advocate here. My main gripe is that the single player feels disjointed. It feels really fun, but it just feels like I'm going from random level to random level. It doesn't feel like I'm really doing anything or accomplishing anything.
I agree with you there because it splits it up into those 3 sections or however many sections. And you're just like, you kill the last boat, screen goes black, and then you're diving into another area. Like there should be more. uh, And like you said, though, it's really one of my only criticisms. Like they do the mechanics so well. It's just as fun to play with joysticks as it is to play with the 3D motion controls. Like I enjoy
Although,
sitting there doing the throttle and the stick, and then it's fun. But when you get into the serious dog fights, no, you're going to use your joysticks
so
unless
it
you're stupid.
so I have come to realize that that is the wrong way of thinking. So it's harder to get good at it, but if you can get good at the actual 3D motion controls, it's much more competitive because the joysticks will only move so quickly. When you actually move them, your rudder doesn't move in real time. But if you grab it and you move it all the way to the right, you can do that instantly as opposed to waiting for the 1 to 2 second delay with your joystick to push it all the way over. So you can
How do
actually
you
maneuver more nimbly if you
how
can
do you
do it
do
well.
rudder with the motion controls?
What do you mean? Well, I'm just
I
using the
think you can
word.
only do
The
rudder with the
fucking the
oh
fucking
oh
the
you're
fuck
just
the
using words.
Yeah, I'm just using words,
Okay.
man. I'm talking about the fucking middle stick and the left stick, the acceleration and the turning one. The
So
turning
when
one you
you
can whip around faster.
So when you're using motion controls, you've just got throttle and ailerons when you're in elevator. And when you're using sticks, you've also got rudder. I didn't realize you could use rudder. And I randomly did it at one point. So rudder is turned on your yaw. So that's just a direct turn versus banking and yanking. Not to be confused with kind of yanking you're used to meta. But
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
um,
Yeah. You can do that with your
so
left stick, but not with the right one. So if you can use just
yeah.
your right stick, so if you can accelerate and use your
Yep.
rudder with your left stick, but you can actually turn with your 3D motion control with your right hand, that's the most competitive way to play if you can do it well.
I think you're right. Because you get,
It's a good
and
tip.
also, I mean, it's having this much of a range of movement versus having this much of a range of movement. So you can be a lot more precise. It's just without a physical thing to hold on to, motion controls get weird.
So, yeah, I don't know how much I can touch on this without ruining the actual episode we want to do.
Yeah,
We
true.
could just switch to the next topic.
What's the
Sounds fine.
next topic?
New headset news.
New headset news. Yeah, I mean, Meta
What was
has
that?
confirmed the Cambria. Yeah. Did you have that before Facebook changed to Meta or announced that they were
I,
changing
ma-
to
I
Meta?
made it. I made it like the same week they announced they were changing.
Okay, so you knew it before you made it.
Yeah, I rushed to make this because I thought that it was the right way to go, and I think I was right. I was an early adopter. I want my early adopter name.
But yeah, they did confirm Project Cambria.
Yeah.
Some more disappointing news. Although it's not disappointing, I think it's just kind of the way the industry is going to be for a while. But it is going to be geared toward a business customer. The articles were saying $800, and they said no, it's going to be more than that. So um, it's going to be more than $800. But I mean, it's got the color pass through. It's got a lot of features that are going to be great. And one of the things that I don't see discussed is cloud gaming. And I think that's where these new headsets they're coming out with are really going to shine. Because if you can do a PC quality game on a mobile headset, standalone, it's going to change the market again. Like, the Quest 2 wasn't upset getting these mobile quality games, but enough developers behind it. And now with a headset capable of doing cloud gaming, especially something like what they're calling the Cambria or the Quest Pro or whatever they're going to call it, um, where you've got much better hardware, much better tracking, the pass through features making with a color pass through, you could essentially wear this stupid thing around your entire house. You could live in a headset if you wanted to, which again, I think it's what they're going for when you're working in an office. But what's up?
So I think I'd like to touch on something that crosses between this and our last segment we just wrapped up, which is something that we're uniquely positioned to discuss as streamers of VR, um, which is why we decided to go with a recorded format instead of a streaming format for our first 2 hours. And that is the glaring lack that you might not realize there is a lack of a way to easily stream both audio and video from your VR headset and stream it. You can only do video, not audio, without all these crazy workarounds. And when you look online, everything will be like, yeah, sorry, man. I have a mic connected to my shirt and I'm capturing like headset audio and my voice because it's not the best, but it works. The audio is kind of choppy, but it's fine. And it's like, how is that not a built-in feature? They already have it with the presence of mind to be like, you want to share pictures? Gotta put it on Facebook or Messenger. Share it with your friends, bro. That's the only way. But they don't want you to be able to stream content. What is this?
It shows you how important their own social platform is. You remember when the Xbox One launched? One of the hugest features of Xbox One was one button streaming to Twitch. It like you hit that share button on your controller and you could start streaming right to Twitch. Um, it I can't remember if that was a day one feature or what, but it was just something they harped on and they wanted push so hard. You didn't have to have any crazy equipment. It's all taken care of by the Xbox. So it is crazy to me that 10 years later we've got these consoles we're putting on our face and they don't have an easy way to stream. The easiest way to stream a Quest is to play PCVR and just use your Quest. um, you
But
know,
the bulk of
but if
people
you're
just have a standalone Oculus. Like they're missing out on like the majority of the market.
but that's meta. There's Facebook Live, I guess. But I mean that's what and you can actually you could stream directly to Facebook Live. I don't know if you can anymore. I think they changed that in one of their recent updates. But
Maybe they
that's
had some concerns about certain things getting out too fast for them to keep control of, with how many kids infiltrate. Like, could you imagine just one button, what sort of streams would be going on in VR chat, possibly with kids? Like the whole shit could get shut down, quickly.
Oh yeah,
So
God forbid people actually see what's happening in VR. They might shut us down.
no, in VR chat. I
That's
mean,
VR still.
well, it's not all of VR. You don't have to download it. It's not. It doesn't come as you don't have to enter VR chat to get to any of your games. It's
but
not like
I mean
you open up your headset and you're in that world and you have to deal with it to do anything. It's an app like anything else. You don't like it, you don't get it.
but I mean you're
So
talking about streaming in general. Like, every console now has a way to stream your game. Every single
I
console.
think they're just cautious because of how much damage it can do, because there's so much unknown with VR that if somebody wanted to, use it as a cause or something, that VR is an easy target with the right footage and the right stream that could pop off live before they could get ahead of it or before they would have a chance to even review what's going on. They could tank it could tank VR, or at least set them back a while for no reason, because people are ignorant to it. So it's, fear of the unknown.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you have the stick, Budo, I promise.
Yeah. No. Oh, go for it. Go for it.
I can see what you're saying, but I still think it comes down to Facebook Meta being a social platform first and foremost. And if they open it up to their competitors, it's just a stupid move for the company as a whole, even though I think it's a stupid move not to do it. I think that's probably all it comes down to. Stick can go to
Yeah.
Budo.
No, there are so many reasons. But on your path, Bonely, I totally, when I was doing research on just VR and headsets, I ran across an article from some. I wish I remembered. I should have remembered the reporter and the article and all that. I don't. but it was all about them going into VR chat. They're like, what is this like? And like somebody's like, they're like, you shouldn't be here. And then like they just talk about all of these instances of weird underage interactions and weird stuff and like sex acts. I'm like, oh, this is not some good PR at all for VR. And it's just not what it, like you said, that's not what it's all about. But but it was funny that you said VR chat, because that's exactly where that article was all about. So yeah,
it's hard to find it anywhere else besides there.
So I'm not cutting people off. I'm not a jackass.
You've got the stick, Meta, so go for it.
I am aware. I personally, I hear your opinion and I validate it, but I think it's just a glaring oversight, honestly. I don't think it has any reasoning behind it. I think it's just a complete misstep and accident. I don't think it was done intentionally because, like Kitty said, it's so standard now. It's so standard to be able to do that easily. That's why Twitch is even a platform. If it was hard to stream games, you think there'd be as many streamers as there are? It's not supposed to be this hard. It's supposed to be really, straightforward, easy. They made it unnecessarily hard, and I think it was just a mistake, just an oversight.
Why would they come up with, see, I would agree with you had they not had the casting option. If they just had recording and pictures in the game, I could say maybe an oversight. But if they go as far to cast it, that means that they're thinking about taking it and putting it on places and moving things around, in which case they would have had to talk about streaming at that point and had to make a decision, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah, it's interesting. It's funny to be in the position that we are trying to do these shows, and we're just trying to get it. But now it's all of a sudden leading to commentary about our difficulty to do it as good as we wanted to do it. I mean,
and it's really frustrating.
Oh no, I can't hear anything.
Some classic
applause. Applause.
Sorry, we were doing this
now
and it went really long.
I don't know if they can even hear us. Can you hear us?
Don't fun. I'm sorry, say that again.
Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Well, it's a little crazy
No,
in the
I lost track
background.
of thought. It is insane over there.
You have no idea. We started a shoot and it was way more than we expected it to be. There was a lot of twerking and drinking, and it was a very fun photo shoot. And we just got back. We were very late, so we're sorry. It's her fault.
Well, I'm glad you guys made it.
Yes.
You missed us talking about Zenith, and you missed us talking about Warplanes.
Warplanes, yes. Yes.
So it's not too late to go back, and we can get back on the meta hate train. Meta the person, not meta the.
Yeah, I joined a lobby in Warplanes, and some guy saw my username and just instantly shout out, "Fuck Meta," and he goes, "Meta fucking sucks." And then he goes, "Oh wait, no, not the guy. I just really hate the company. I'm sorry, dude." And I was like, "Yo, I just go places and get shit on."
That would hurt my feelings.
So without giving away too much before we actually do our first 2 hours episode, what did you think of, and this is specifically for Kayleiki first, what did you think of Warplanes?
Say that one more time. What did you think of Warplanes?
Okay, that's what I thought you said, but I wasn't sure. I actually loved it. But the first, I would say like 10, 15 minutes, I was like over there moving because I was going upside down and I felt so sick. But after a while, thank you, baby. It wasn't so bad. It was bad. For her, it was, but for me, it was bad at the beginning. But it got better after a while. Now, after I got off the game and I went to go eat, it was over with. I had to go to bed.
That came out my throat. there.
You know, that is a funny thing about the game. When I was playing with you guys, I didn't really have any VR sickness.
Stop.
Me and Surmaldo, why do I always point the wrong way? We went into some public lobbies the other night, and we were playing with these guys that have probably played every day since the game launched. And I would die really quick. And so then you're spectating one of these guys that's been playing forever. And I mean, somehow their roll rates are insane and they're doing all these crazy maneuvers. And I was ready to throw up, like being stuck in their cockpit for a while. And like it got down to the last two guys and one of them. And I mean, it was like a dogfight out of World War I. Like they were just like pulling around each other. No one gets shots in. And I was ready to just give up VR for good. Because
I literally felt my stomach hit right here. It hit right here. Like that first loop, I was upside down and I was like, oh my God, what was that? And I felt like I was gonna throw up instantly.
I do want to say for the group and just see if everyone agrees. Because Sormato, I think it was just Sormato that was saying, yeah, I'm talking to you, look over here. Was saying that we need a VR game that doesn't care if you have motion sickness and just throws you right in.
Yes.
That's
both
me.
happy, but then also completely shocked that you load into midair like hundreds of feet.
The menu you load into, you're 100 feet off the ground.
That was like an
just
interesting design choice.
That gave me such bad motion sickness. I'm sitting there like, what the hell is this? And there's just a float. That made my stomach turn too.
I am so happy I played Dash Dash first.
See, is it majorly different between Dash Dash and this?
Well, Dash Dash, you're not flipping and looping, and you know what I mean. You're not upside down ever, so you're always flat on the ground.
There are loop-de-loops.
Yeah.
My question is, how did Smaldo cheat? That's all I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Hey, I'm just good at piloting.
He was doing.
I bet you behind the scenes he's actually like a freaking pilot. Is that what you do for a living? Is you fly planes?
No, I've just played a lot of flying games before. I played a lot of the original Battlefield games.
Now I know how he's kicking y'all's butt in this damn racing. I get it.
I play a lot of video games. What can I say?
It was rough feeling like I should have had an edge in that game with all the flying I do, and I did not have an edge. And like that first match where Surmaldo had like 11 kills and I think I managed 3. I was so mad. Like it's just not fair.
That's what I was trying to.
So I knew to use the rudder right off the bat, so that was one advantage that I had. You got to lead your target based off of how fast they're moving, how far away they are. Your plane pretty much always pulls up just a little bit while you're accelerating, so account for that by aiming a little bit low ahead of time, and then just let it naturally pull up into your target as you're flying towards them.
Oh, you have actual strategy. I like that. Yeah, I was just winging it on some wings. Yeah, that was stupid. That was the stupidest comment I could have
We
made.
need either the claps or the booze, Kitty. You have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, no.
Did it play something?
But you know what? You know who we haven't heard from though is Bonely. Like, what did you think of it? Like, randomly, you haven't been about Warplanes. What did you think?
I was pretty frightened for the first 20 minutes. I thought there was no way that I was going to keep it because I kept crashing into the wires under the Zeppelins. And once I got a little bit comfortable with the controls, like I was glad that I played Vox first, because Vox got me very Vox kind of the handling and the piloting is a little bit similar. I mean, it's not the same speed or whatever, but the way that you move things with each hand is kind of similar. So once I got used to it, I really liked it. For me, what really excelled was the co-op. I thought that the co-op was really interesting and exciting, and doing those missions was really cool. So yeah, I really I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Same.
I would definitely recommend the realistic flying, even if you're scared of that stuff, because that gives you the real experience. And it was a really neat experience regardless. So just being up there and being able to do it was very cool.
So I have found through hours of gameplay that realistic is not the top tier, my friend. Oh no, 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 no. There's then simulation and then real war.
Real
And
War sucks. It's all about
real
simulation.
war
War
is
is
so
terrible.
fucking hard.
Yeah, no thanks on that one.
And that we should get into on the actual 2 hours. But I think we're talking about headsets.
Oh yeah, just jump around.
Yeah,
We're
and
organized.
yeah, to God, I was about to make a really good point, and Zayliki showed up. It was going to be the defining moment of the whole show. But thank you guys for showing up. What were we? So we were talking about streaming from the headset and how crazy it is you can't stream directly from the
And
headset.
yeah, but anyway, so with this new one, yeah, I mean, a lot of other headsets are over $800 and over a lot. Like, has anybody else bought like one of those super expensive like Steam headsets?
I bought the Vive a while back and
Yeah.
played the heck out of it. It was worth it. I considered Google Earth to be worth it alone, let alone all of the games and stuff. Being able to fly around. So many of the areas they use satellite imagery, but a lot of the areas are rendered in 3D, and so you can actually fly around like downtown Seattle, and all the buildings are as tall as they actually are and stuff, and so you feel like a superhero.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
We're poor, so no.
They say with their 2 headsets and 2 gaming computers and extra peripherals and poor. We know y'all balling.
We just make it happen.
Yeah.
I hear that. Yeah, I mean, it's the weird thing because I've got a lot of head-mounted displays and expensive stuff. Had the Vive for a very short while and got rid of it because I was like, "Oh, VR is really cool," and then I was like, "Okay, I've done it now," because I really didn't. Man, I can't read chat and talk at the same time.
Yeah, no, you just talk.
But that's the thing with when the Oculus or the Quest 2 came out, is all the reviews were saying doing it with virtual desktop was better than the Vive, and it is. Field of view is a little bit less, but you don't even notice it after a while. But it is, the new headsets. I think cloud gaming is going to be the big thing. If they can get something that works fast enough, and I mean, there's already people doing cloud gaming on the Quest, so it's only a matter of time. Someone that does testing with the Quest was saying there's already a gate for cloud gaming, um, which means it already exists on the headset. It's just not active. So y'all just trying to confuse me and make it so I can't talk at the same time.
So can we elaborate on cloud gaming for those who may not know what that is?
So cloud gaming is there's a computer in the sky that's running the game, and it's just playing the video on your headset. So it's taking all the input from your headset and playing the game in the cloud. So the cloud's handling all the computing power. So you kind of have this unlimited machine that's running your games. So when you look at games like Half-Life Alyx and you go, man, there's a whole lot of, and I can't just close it. It pops back up when I close it. Like, that's so frustrating. I hate y'all. I hate y'all so much. It's great content. But yeah, so you look at games like Half-Life Alyx, and you can absolutely play that on a $300 headset that has no hardware in it, because all the processing power is taking place on a different server. There's a lot of things you got to think about, because especially in VR, any kind of input lag is going to be noticeable by your brain, because if you look left and it doesn't actually look left immediately, it's going to be really disorienting. For the general public that doesn't know what's going on here, there's a chat that goes on the whole time we're doing this
No,
show.
there's not. He's lying.
And they
Liar.
will not shut up because they know that if I'm talking and there's something to read, I'm gonna like stop mid sentence and try to read it. And they think they're funny.
Excuses.
But I'm closing it again.
Did you see his comment? That was hilarious.
No, I saw him lorem ipsum.
It's just filler words.
Just filler. Yeah.
Hey, so anyways, back to content the audience can engage with. What's up, Siberian?
We won't be missing more shows, Siberian.
Man, I can't believe someone's sticking around and watching after that shit show. But yeah, cloud gaming. The moment we get reliable cloud gaming on cheap headsets, the game's over.
Yeah. Has anybody else here used Airlink?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've
effectively.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it breaks up. It's
good distinction.
So I reset up my link cable, and because I want to try to use it, but it's not the same thing. But the cloud gaming, like I could just imagine if you had a next level of cloud, like from the Airlink to cloud gaming, like that sounds like something I would really want.
That's exactly what it is, except you don't have to invest $1,200 into a cheap gaming computer.
To be fair to Airlink, it was a feature that was added post launch of the Quest. Like your Quest didn't have that built into it when.
No, it's wild.
Like they added that as a free upgrade to your device that wasn't there before. So the fact that that's even possible, because it used to be you had to use virtual desktop. It's nice that they even created that option, to be fair. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have time to perfect it.
And have any of you heard that there's rumors that, not just rumors, I think it's pretty official, that they're going to create a dongle that you could connect to your computer. USB. I know, it's a fun word. It's a fun word. But that will make like a way clearer Airlink so that you don't have to rely on the Wi-Fi network.
And they really that's the missing link, pun intended, with Airlink is having to go through people's router. So this will eliminate that, and people have perfect connections. It's tough because I've got a really nice router and I've been using virtual desktop, and I mean it's so much better than Airlink. Plus, you don't have to use any Oculus apps. You can do everything from Steam. So I would recommend anyone that has $25 to spend on their gaming rig to use virtual desktop. It doesn't make sense to use Airlink. Not to hate on it.
No, I haven't tried it that much. But I do need to upgrade. Yeah. What, Zay and Kay?
No, I get kicked off a lot. And I don't know if it's just our Wi-Fi, but it'll sometimes I'll be in it and it'll be perfectly fine, and then it just drops instantly. So I try not to use Airlink.
Yeah.
Do you have the problem? No, I don't think she has. It could just be me. Could be.
Yeah, I will say that I tried running virtual desktop from my gaming laptop. Well, my mid to low end gaming laptop, to be precise for people out there. And while it works, I thought my laptop was going to melt. And it's very important that you remember to close virtual desktop on your laptop, because even when you're not streaming it, your laptop's still running processing power like it thinks it is. And I woke up in the morning and my laptop was like something crazy, like actually a little piece on the side was actually melted. I'm really happy it still works. Like, don't make sure you close out a virtual desktop, guys.
So for people that use virtual desktop a lot, is there a way to have more than one screen visible at once? Because on my normal computer, I'm using 3 screens, but when I open up virtual desktop, it just wants to be on one.
Yeah, you can switch displays.
Well, I don't just want to switch between them. Oh, okay, that's what I'm asking. So you can't. That's
not
dumb.
that I know of.
So
there are other apps you can use in virtual desktop, like God dang it. Even Steam VR can do it. So if you open up Steam VR within virtual desktop, you can have multiple displays showing.
Are you talking about on your actual CPU monitor, or are you talking about in your headset in VR?
He has multiple monitors and he wants to see all of them in VR.
Okay. So I don't know about that, but what I do know about, just to railroad the conversation, is an update that was done by Meta just recently, where now the standard feature in your Oculus, you can have multitasking on other screens. You can have more than one window up at a time, which is a nice addition. That wasn't there before. I was always jelly when Kitty would share his screen or post a screenshot and he had more than one thing up. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, dude, PC VR. Like, I mean, it's awesome. That's one of the hardest things for me with doing the first 2 hours is we wanted to be committed to that like Quest standalone experience. And if you've watched the trailers for Warplanes, they're in the PC version, and you see how pretty it is. And I mean,
It's
they did a good job with this version. It's still really pretty, but I mean, the PC version looks so much better. And I'm kind of pissed that I didn't get it.
he's waiting for his popsicle,
Oh, popsicle. What flavor? What flavor popsicle? I just gotta
and
ask.
he's big into Spider-Man too. So that's what he's waiting for is a Spider-Man game.
Me too.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'd probably throw up all over the place.
You
but it's
really
fun.
want to get sick, don't you?
Yeah.
There's a oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sick. So we were talking about cloud gaming, and I actually was talking to Abba the other day in PokerStars, and he was telling me that. Well, actually, he said he hadn't tried it yet, but he was saying you could use Shadow PC to make your computer capable of running VR, and I kind of really want someone to try that, or for if anyone in the chat,
There's there's a
has
couple
tried.
YouTube videos. Some of the VR YouTubers have done it. They've
I
got
just
it
wonder about
working.
latency.
So they all say the same thing. They go, "It works technically." Um,
That's not what I want to hear.
so one of the girls actually plays. She's playing Zenith on Shadow through the Quest, and you know, there's definite frame loss and there's like compression issues that you can see. Um, because another one of the things with cloud gaming right now and something like Shadow PC is you're watching a video of the display. You're not actually displaying the game. And so when you're in VR, that means you'll get some weird screen tearing and artifacts in the image that aren't actually in the game. It's just in the stream of the game. And she said it wasn't too bad, but again, watching her play it, I felt like, when you're getting a 25, 26 frame rate on a device that's capable of 120 frames per second, it's really just disorienting and not good, which is why I'm looking forward to Meta's standalone version of cloud gaming where they're hosting the servers or whatever. And I'm
Yeah,
sure there's going to be a subscription fee and I'm sure it's going to be worth it.
so I'm not sure about the last part, but 25 FPS in VR sounds nauseating. That's how you puke. Can you imagine 25
Yeah.
FPS in
Yeah.
Warplanes? Oh my god.
Oh, no. And I mean, she was like walking around Zenith doing very. What is going on over there?
Did you see the dog dart past us? That was
I
the
saw
dog.
your child dart past you. That's
And
all
then
I
it was
said.
a child. It's like a cartoon over
It's
here.
like,
I
what's
usually
going
pick
on?
him up or stick. It was the dog.
But yeah, one more thing I know Thermaldo's big on is Humble Bundle.
Yeah, I freaking love
Oh,
Humble
yeah.
Bundle.
Oh
It's
my
a
gosh,
great way to
yes.
get games for cheap, and also a lot of the money goes to charities, so it's a win-win.
Woo.
And right now they're
mean-
doing a Game Over T1D bundle, which I guess has to do with donating money towards fighting diabetes. So that's a pretty worthy cause. The current bundle has at least one VR game in it, which is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. The bundle right now is only $12, and Saint and Sinners by itself, I believe, is $40 right now.
But that's not
So
redeemable on the Oculus Store, right? That's only through
no,
Steam.
it's through Steam
Through
VR.
Steam.
All of the Humble
Yep.
Bundle stuff is Steam. But still, anybody who's got Steam, that's a pretty great freaking deal. And I believe we have the trailer lined up.
Here it is.
Let's see it.
Oh, I know why you've come here. I know what you're looking for. But what I still have to ask, tourist, is who are you? Now that the dead live forever, that every scrap counts, that everybody's just in it for themselves, do you hide in dark places? Do you kill from afar? Or do you prefer it up close? Personal. It's a big world out there. And there's no one left to tell us what to do. So tell me, tourist. Who are you?
If I didn't do it, someone else would have. There was no preventing her exile.
Do it already! Finish the fucker!
Please. Not here! Not like this!
In him now!
That looks pretty fun. I think that would be worth $12.
I wish it was multiplayer though, cause half that shit is
Delayed.
I mean, they made it look like a lot of fun, but man, that looks intense.
it does.
I am very curious to know if that footage was recorded in PC VR or in standalone, because
Probably
it
PC
looked
VR.
like, I mean, that game, I wonder, it looked like that was capable of standalone graphics. It didn't look like PC VR to me, but I mean, I could be wrong.
It looked like standalone to me.
I'm just excited because it's actual slow zombies. The whole concept of zombies has been bastardized over the last couple of decades to the point where they're just these
Oh, no.
running.
You don't like rage zombies?
We've found the new professions. It's running zombies. We can't.
I'm a 28 days later zombie kind of guy.
Oh man, yeah, those aren't zombies. Those are people with some
World
weird
War
disease.
Zombies.
And I like what Siberian says. It looks way too easy to get a jump scare. And yeah, in
The
VR,
slow zombies are all about sneaking up on you.
jump scares are so next level in VR. It's not. There's nothing like a jump scare in VR.
Speaking of zombie games in VR, I would murder someone and that is not playable in court. That is not an admission of anything. But I would totally kill someone if The Last of Us made a VR game. Oh my god, I'd be all over that. I would jump at that in a heartbeat. I would give them ungodly amounts of money. Just give me the game.
The Last of Us is one of those games that everyone I know is like, how do you not play that game? And I go, I don't want to play it.
Strangle.
Yeah, that looks cool. And like you said, the minimum donation is $12. So for $12, you can get what looks like a really nice game. I'm a little tempted to try it out, but I don't really want to have to change my pants tonight. So
There's some other good games in the bundle, but none of them are VR. Sorry, Zay, what was that?
No, I love those type of games, but I have to have her as bait. I mean, I have to have her as.
Wow.
I'm dead ass serious. Like y'all seen me. I stayed in the van. I stayed. I'm too scared.
I didn't raggedy ass fan without a flashlight.
I didn't get out this raggedy ass van without a flashlight. And I didn't I? But yeah, I love the way it looks. I like zombie games. I just don't like solo play games. I'm thinking I need to try it though.
Well, I thought there was like a 4-player version of it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm
I
not
thought it was a
sure.
4-player co-op. Maybe not. I don't know. We really suck at this VR news thing because we never know anything. We gotta start knowing things before we bring them up.
What? Plan our show?
Nah.
Man, I don't know about that.
I remember how
I
smooth
don't
that
know
episode
about
went
doing
when
the
I had
bare
an
minimum.
outline and stuff ready for it. Remember how good that was?
Oh my gosh. But so guys, I have this thing I want to talk about before we wrap up tonight. It's called Dash Dash. And we've had a league going for a little while. And we have recently, I will say more like Bonely has recently recruited #1 player, as far as I know, globally to be in our league. Let's get some
Psychedelic.
applause going for that. Hey, I'm gonna abuse that so much.
Yeah, Dash
yeah.
Dash is becoming a real success. We had 2 really nice races yesterday. We're having a lot of fun with it, and it keeps growing, which is cool.
Yeah, every time
Anybody
I'm on.
can still join. You're just behind, which is fine. You'll still be in the playoffs. Everybody's
It's
gonna make
fun.
the
That's what
playoffs,
matters.
and it's fun. Yeah, we're having a good time. Tuesday nights, we're streaming live, and yeah, it's really competitive. It's getting more and more competitive. Now we got to have everybody come together next week. I need Psychedelic and Bobo in the same race with all of us, and we're gonna see what happens. It's gonna be fun.
Dude, I managed a 4th place finish this week. I don't want Bobo around to put me back in 8th place, dude. I will say every week we play it, I like it more and more. But I mean, it's that having 8 of us all invested in the game makes it so much better. And VR needs to take this and realize like everything is better when it's social. Like we don't want any more single player games in VR. No more. Just stop.
I mean, I do like.
What are you over there doing?
But let me put it
Like
this way.
and physics lab.
No, let me put it this way. They just need to do
VR.
multiplayer right, because I was always about single player games because it wasn't easy for me to find the multiplayer aspect. But after I met all you peoples, like that completely changed my VR experience. Like I was just first player until I met all you guys. Like,
Yeah, you were player 1. Now I'm player 1, bitch.
Love you too.
To that point, like I've had this headset for 2 years. Whenever they came out, and I grabbed one, and I think the most I spent in a week was like maybe 2 hours in games. Pull up Beat Saber when friends came over to show them VR, and then I think I did Rush with my father-in-law, and then a little bit of light gaming. But it wasn't until Zenith with the MMO that was done so well. Social aspects were done so well.
It was when we stopped you.
It was you guys. It's all thanks to Zay and Kay.
The hell out of your ass. Yeah.
I mean, really though, if it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't have found any of these other guys because y'all decided to join Crimson for some reason. I was so disappointed, man. I popped up and y'all left Dog Ate My Guild, and I was like, what do I do now? Because I was gonna join Dog Ate My Guild.
And then we ate the guild.
Yeah, and then Crimson ate Dog Ate My Guild.
It did.
Yeah, I did.
I woke up one day and my guild was eaten.
He walked up and he was like, "You left my guild." I was like, "But look, we can take this one." But
It's like, well, I'm only okay with it if I can join too.
right. So something else I want to bring up. Meta ate all my money in poker. All of it. And
Y'all gotta be careful
I
playing
lost
that game.
9.6 million in fake money in roulette.
I was really hoping that would get mentioned. Yeah, Meta somehow.
Did you say
Somehow.
9 million?
9.6, yeah.
Did you put it all on black or what?
No, I just
I can never go back.
I kept doubling my bet. I was so sure I was gonna hit red, not black. Yeah, no, I was so sure.
Man.
My last bet was like 3 point something million. I was up to the point where I was able to use the 5 million betting amount in one spin. Shouldn't have done that. I did. But
Brutal.
So I've got a serious question for you.
what's up?
Has playing gambling in VR made you want to gamble in real life?
Yes, it has. I don't recommend it.
See, and that's I think it's such a valid concern because I know I was doing Texas Hold'em on a website like 10 years ago, and it got to that point where I was like, just itching to go do it for real. And that's one of the things that Poker Stars is doing to me now is I'm like, man, it wouldn't be a bad idea to, save up $1,000 and head to the casino.
Yeah, but the thing is, it would be. Yeah, that's why I said in Discord I'm gonna lay off for a while because it's like playing poker pickup here and there. It's a card game, but when you start doing it constantly, it can scratch that itch, my man. If people have that itch,
I think there's a weird dangerous line, and it's almost like an abuse of VR at that point because I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe someone that has that addiction can scratch the itch in VR, but this is one of the few moments where I'm like, man, sometimes video games are bad for kids. And
oh yeah,
I'm worried
like
that
I feel like when I first entered the game and I saw this is an 18 plus experience, at first I giggled for a second, but after playing it for more than I have, I think it's absolutely disgusting that they're not more like
well, and
on
how
their
many
shit
kids
about
have you seen at
being
the
in that
tables?
game.
Have you
Like
done
Several.
kids
public
should not
tables?
be exposed to that as
Here's
much as
another
they so
point to
easily
that.
are.
There was a kid at one of the tables that I was playing at who was like, "Oh, give me one of those cigarettes." So it's like
Yeah,
even
no.
worse because there's in-game cigarettes.
In the lobby.
Say that again.
I got molested by 5 guys in the lobby.
The
I
kids in
believe
that
that.
game are a different breed. Like
Yeah.
I have heard like kids cuss in VR and in games and in life,
It
but
don't even
like,
right.
oh my god, like
It was
in
terrible.
Poker Stars,
like,
those
"Siggy,
kids act
Siggy,
like
give me
they're
some."
70 years old or like they're old like grandpas and grandmas. They're already pissed off with life. They're just gonna like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like VR chat. Sometimes you just see the bottom of the barrel, and the kids in Poker Stars are the bottom of the barrel screecher
No,
kids.
I literally had guys like swarm in around me, and then some other guy was like, "Hey, can you get away from your fans?" I'm like, "I don't know who the hell they are. They don't know me." I'm like, "Hold on," and I'd move over, and they attach themselves, and I'm like, "Just because I'm a chick, are you serious?" They literally followed me around the little lobby area,
This does not
and then
surprise
don't
me
give me
anyway.
the wrong address or the wrong room name. I was sitting there like, "Where is it? I got to get out of here." They were all in my. It was horrible, and their voices. They were like. They were really trying to pimp me. I was a little scared.
Yeah, but I do just want to say one last thing, and I don't want to be super negative about Poker Stars because the reality is they did a good job with the game. And
They really
I
did.
like what they did with the game, and there's a reason why I've spent as much time in it as I have, because it feels good. But if there's one more negative thing I can say about the game, it's this, which is that I love Poker Stars. I think it's too early for VR. I would have loved to see Poker Stars in 2 or 3 years. I think it's really early to have something this predatory in such a small industry at the moment because you really get this sense if you start playing like online, like multiplayer with people you don't know, like where it literally becomes VR chat and you're just sitting at a table, going through the motions, talking to someone for like 2-3 hours, like building a relationship, getting to know someone. Then all of a sudden, if you want to keep talking, you better have chips. I hope you didn't just lose out. And you start getting people begging people like, man, I really would like, we're hanging out. Like, can you just send me? And you can't send them chips that you've earned. You got to pay money to send them chips. And you start getting people that like, who just want social interactions, who are having to pay to have social interactions when it shouldn't be about that. And it feels kind of predatory.
So I wanted to make a side point really quick, which is just that there are settings for making it where people can't get inside of your bubble, like you were talking about, Zaliki. They're just kind of buried in the settings, and you have to find them. It's not turned on by default. So I would recommend if you continue playing the game to turn that on. You can make it where I think people can't get too close to you. Sounds like Kitty wants to talk, so I'll hand it over to him.
That's a good stick.
I think that was Budo's cat. I don't know.
Oh, she just saw her. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the bubble settings are in there. You can keep people out, and you can even set it up so that you can only play a certain amount of time a day if you have a gambling problem, and it'll kick you out. Um, the only thing I wanted to say was piggybacking on Meta's comment, and then we can just shut this down. Um, the social aspect of Poker Stars. Um, I was we were going through a really rough time about a year ago, and before I'd really found a lot of gaming in VR. And those nights were made a lot easier jumping into Poker Stars and just chatting and hanging out with people, sitting at the blackjack table and bullshitting with random people I've never met before. And while you're right, it does kind of showcase some of the predatory aspects of VR. It also showcases that social aspect and people that, because we were in lockdown and all that stuff happening, my depression hit an all time low. And I was able to sit there and be around people. And it really, I don't want to make like a, Sarah McLaughlin commercial here, but,
The arms
ah,
of the angels.
but, you know, not to say it saved my life or anything, but dude, it really helped pull me out of some deep places, even though it's a stupid little poker game. The power of VR and the power of social experience in VR really it's highlighted in that game to me. But
No, I agree. I just think it's interesting in the way that it is. And if they
yeah.
really wanted that to be more of a thing without what I mentioned, they would put more effort into creating just a space like Zenith has with the tavern, just a communal space. There's a reason why when you load into the lobby, it's not like you can go to someone else's lobby, and there's enough players where it's not all a shared lobby, and there's no way to go to someone else's. So like it's intentionally like and I understand they're trying to make money, like I get it, but to me it's kind of in a grayish, not so gray area, but still gray enough to where I'd call it a gray area where it feels predatory. But that's just my 2 cents. That time it was Budo's cat. Yeah.
But yeah. So anyways, it was great catching up with you guys. And good to see Zaliki and Kayleeki showing up. It's good to see all of you show up, but I'm always happy when they show up.
But it's better when we show up.
It's better.
And
It's
and
better.
and just a shout out to Kitty, dude. You always do so much for us. So thanks for making this all work. That's
Yeah.
a big part of why this all works.
100%.
all you.
100%. But at the same time, no one wants to see 5 guys on a Twitch stream. People be scrolling through, they're like, where are the tits?
No.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Oh,
Dave,
now I'm
seriously.
awkward.
Oh my god. I'm just fucking with you guys. I hope you know that.
So this is a great time to mention our sponsor.
Brought to you by harassment.
I'm gonna get so many
Is that what he's calling his brand now? No, we did want to mention again though that as soon as we hit 50 Twitch followers, we are going to be doing a giveaway. Try to get these up here.
For proof.
This is my favorite pair of shoes from
Ooh, I like
the
those
company
ones, yeah.
that's offering this giveaway with us. And we're still not 100% sure what exactly they're going to entail, but they do shoes and skater apparel. I think they even do skate decks and some other things like that. And yes, it's a weird sponsor for a VR channel, but we all have very shared interest, and it's really cool. And I'm looking forward to see what else happens. I know
And I'm
Budo's
sure
got
they'd
some
be
stuff
very
lined up with them.
comfortable for when you have to stand in VR for long periods of time.
Ooh,
I hear
ooh.
That's what we'll have to push. We'll have to check it out.
No, skate shoes would be. That is actually very true. If it's a proper skate shoe, then yes.
But anyway, so yeah, you guys subscribe, like, follow, all those things every other person tells you to do on the internet, so that we can get more followers and make more money and do fun things.
You're right. We should be different, guys. Block our channel. Report us.
Unsubscribe. Get the heck out of here.
We're not with the wheel.
All right. Thanks for watching,
disruptors.
folks.
Yep. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out. Y'all have a good night.
Bye, everyone.